And yes, we are recording now. Good evening, everybody. Well, evening for me because I'm on East Coast time, wherever you are. Hello, I'm Tanika from Real 365, and this is my most current independent filmmaker chat. Tonight, I am sitting down with Dreka Shevon.
Hello.
Dreka is an independent filmmaker. We met, how many years ago is it that we met? It feels like every time I ask someone, I can never come up with the number.
We met in 2013 at the Hollywood Black Film Festival.
Hollywood Black Film Festival. That's right. Man, time is flying.
Okay. I know. To think about 3 years already. It has flown.
Yeah. Okay. So that's how we met. Mm-hmm. You can go on and give a little bit of your background before I start bombarding you with a bunch of questions.
Okay. pretty much, I got my start off. I started off at an early age. Well, currently, right now, writer, director, producer. Now, the thing that pays the bills right now is I run the commercial production department at a station in Memphis. So that's pretty much what I do full time, operating cameras, writing, directing, shooting commercials. But the thing that brought us here to this conversation is the passion at heart, which is film.
Mm-hmm. So when did that passion for film start? At what age would you say?
I would say my passion for film actually started as early as third grade. I grew up in a small town, Fayette, Mississippi. And so sometimes when the weather would get bad, our lights would go off. Mm-hmm. And so what we would do is, it was this one particular movie, and I knew every word, every lyric to it, Little Shop of Horror. Oh. And that was my movie that pretty much said, oh, I just love it. I love everything about it. I'm not so much into musicals now, but that movie started it all. And from there, I went ahead. I used to write little short books in third grade. And my aunt still has one of them, and it's called Savage. Yes, it's called Savage Kids. I don't know where I came up with the titles.
Where'd you come up with that title at that age?
I have no idea. And I actually glued pictures to it to where you can see on the front cover of it. It's a head like split open. Oh. I don't even know where I got the picture from, but it's on there, and she's keeping it to this day.
So Little Shop of Horrors started that there.
It started.
And that was just one of those movies, like we all have movies that whenever it comes on television, like for me, it's kind of like Forrest Gump. I don't have it in my DVD collection, but when it comes on TV, if I'm flipping through and I see this on, I'll stop and I'll watch it. It's one of those movies I can just...
It's one of those movies, that and Howard the Duck. You can't go wrong. You remember that one?
I do.
Yes, those were my movies. And so at the age of 13, I got a camera. My parents bought me this big RCA camera that had a light on the top of it.
Oh my God.
And I thought I was doing something because that was it. I would walk around the house recording everything. Everybody in high school knew me as the girl with the camera. I recorded everything. Yes, like people they will call me and say, hey, they used to call me and say, you have this class night program. And it was like, that was my thing. I did weddings, all the way up till before it was linear editing, where I had to record and edit my music videos using 3 VCRs. So I would have the 3 VCRs and I have all my different takes, and I'll be playing one thing and I sync them up and I have it going into my camera. I was like DJing on the VCR.
Exactly.
Yes.
That is crazy. So at that time you said you were doing weddings and things like that. Had you started writing and like filming anything like that you had written yet or no?
Yeah. At that time, it was more so me and my cousins. We grew up in the country, and so what we would do is every time it was a holiday, we would all get together, and of course, I would come with the camera, and with the ideas, and I'm like, okay, you're gonna play this character, you're gonna play this, and it was always something scary. It was always something, somebody hurting somebody, a monster.
Oh my goodness.
But we made stories out of everything. We did infomercials, we did music videos, we did, you name it, we recorded talk shows, everything.
That is so awesome. So that
Girl,
really hit you early. After high school, did you go to film school?
I did.
Okay.
I did. I started off at first when I went to high school. I loved science, so I kind of thought, okay, I want to be a doctor. Mm-hmm. And when I got to the part, we started on our LI Hill, and we went to an area where they had the funeral, things. And so from that moment, I had like this phobia. So I kind of changed my mind, and I had a full scholarship to one college, and I left it to pursue film at another college.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Follow that passion.
Gotta follow that passion.
I admire that for sure. So to school for film, and of course, I'm sure you filmed while you were in school.
Yeah. We shot on 16 millimeter, and we edited on the deck machine where we had to splice the film.
Oh, the actual film.
Yeah, it was good. It was fun, but it's like you get out and you learn all of that stuff, and now it's like technology has like changed.
Right.
So
Completely.
Yes.
From splicing film.
Say that again?
I said, yeah, completely from actually splicing film.
Mm-hmm. Right. And it's a good thing, though, because I shot a 5-minute, a 5-minute project would cost you like, $2,000 just for 5 minutes, because you're thinking about a 12-minute roll of film is like $500, $400 or $500. It was costing us. Yeah. But I love how technology has advanced from the film to the tape to all of the new stuff now. And now I can just put in a card into a camera and go to a machine and edit without having to import in the video and have that long AVI file. I can't complain.
So were you still doing horror or scary stuff when you were in college, or did your interest change? Really?
In college, I was horror.
Oh my goodness. So at what point did that change? Because that's not what you write right now, is it?
No, it's not. It really changed for me. It was like the whole while that once I got out of college, and I started writing films, I started writing things that, I was dealing with. And so basically, I started writing about relationships. Mm-hmm. So my first project was a feature. It was 1 hour, 51 minutes. And it was like a child, I guess you could say. Mm-hmm. But I was so thankful for it. It was just me and my cast, and it's one of those things where you're in front and behind the camera, because we had a couple of actresses and the things didn't go right with the scheduling, and so there it was an ensemble cast, and everybody was like, Dreka, just put a wig on and do the part. So it was like, really? I'm like, well, who's going to operate the camera? Because I'm doing my own lighting, my own sound, operating the camera. It was like, who's going to do it? And so they said I had a good cast that they would actually press the button and follow me with the camera.
Oh my goodness.
But it was time for me to do my part. So it was like 1 minute you're going in and I'm setting up the camera, setting up the lighting. Then I'm like, okay, y'all, let me go change my clothes. And then I'm putting on my makeup. And then I'm like, okay, y'all get your parts. And then next thing you know, I'll say, turn the camera to me. When I walk this way, do the camera like this and zoom in here. And we got it done.
That's real independent filmmaking right there.
By the grace of God, we got it done.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Now, would you say, because most filmmakers don't go straight into a feature on their own, would you say that it was probably easier for you because you had been working recording and writing for so many years already? Or do you feel like you bit off more than you thought you could chew by starting off with a feature as opposed to starting off with a short?
It was the first scripted, semi-professional thing that I did.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess it kind of took all of the fear out of filming for me. It took the fear away. It was like, okay, all I knew was feature. I didn't know, it was like I had a script. One of my neighbors read it. He said, I like this script. When are you going to do something with it? And at the time, I was still working a full-time job, but I was using that full-time job to fund my habit, my addiction of film. So I would buy all of my camera equipment. I was in sales at the time because when I first got out of college, I tried to get a job at a TV station and they only wanted to pay me $13,000. So I could not survive.
Right.
So it was like, okay, what am I going to do? So I went into sales for about nearly 5 years. I did sales, made some pretty decent money, and I would buy my camera equipment. But back to your question, shooting the feature, it took a lot of the fear away because now it's like when I'm thinking about a short, I'm like, okay, this is nothing. You're looking at somebody who, at the time when I was shooting the feature, I was working, long hours. I would come home every night and log my footage and organize it and start editing it. I'll stay up till like 3 o'clock in the morning, go to sleep, up at 5, 6 o'clock, edit some more, and then run out of the door and go to work. And I did that. We shot for a total of 3 months because we did all the pre-production in January. And then I had the schedule laid out. And by the fact that I was in sales, I was able to have so many different businesses like grocery stores, restaurants, people that I was able to go in and say, hey, can I shoot at your business? And at that time in 2007, it wasn't a lot of shooting going on in Mississippi. So it was like they hadn't heard of it. And it was like, yeah.
They were excited to have a camera.
They were excited. So yeah.
Yeah.
It all worked itself on out. And I did that for a while to the point where my family didn't see me. All of a sudden, one day, my parents came to my door unannounced. My mom called me. She said, okay, your dad is on the way. And I'm like, is he on the way? Like, what's going on? She said, we hadn't heard from you. We hadn't seen you. He just want to come and check on you.
He want to lay his eyes on you to make sure his baby was okay.
So they came and laid their eyes on me. They drove. It wasn't that long of a drive, just like 3 hours or so. Okay. Yeah. And they made sure I was good.
That's what you call dedication. For all these people out here to say it can't be done. Oh, I got a 9 to 5. Oh, I got this. If it's your passion and it's what you want to do, you'll find a way to get it done.
That's true.
You're living proof of that for sure.
Hey, you make an excuse or find a way. You're right.
That's right. That's right. So that was your first project, a feature, and what was the title?
Ready for Love.
Ready for Love. Did you submit that into any festivals or anything like that when you were done?
At the time when I did it, I didn't know anything about festivals, to be honest. All I knew is I made a project and I did a premiere, a red carpet premiere at the Sanger Theater, which seated about 1,000 people. We had like 900 people to come out. It was like 860 some people. But yeah, we had those people to come out. It was all red carpet. You had to dress up, no tennis shoes allowed. So pulled up in the limo. It was like, I really thought like this was it.
Hollywood. You was like, I'm bringing Hollywood to this city. Y'all don't know.
And so that's how it was. And after I finished it, I actually ordered like 1,000 DVDs and I hand sold like 700 of them.
Oh my goodness.
I was doing a masterpiece selling out of the trunk.
Out of the trunk of the car. Yeah. No, out of the trunk of the limo. Come on and get this DVD.
No. But at that time I had moved to Houston. I had gotten married and I moved to Houston. And so there I was selling on the streets of Houston.
Oh,
And when
man.
I would come back home, driving back to Mississippi, you know, I would stop at every gas station, every place I could, and just like, hey, the new DVD, you know.
That is so awesome. So awesome. So from there, you started another feature, or you were in sales? You know.
From there, life happened, and I kind of took some time off. I was constantly writing, but I didn't I didn't produce. Like I was doing music videos for people and that type of thing. But I had started doing music videos back in 2003 before I did the feature. That's one of the things that I was like locally known as in Hattiesburg, Mississippi, and around, you know. So yeah, that's what I did.
Okay. And so let's see. You did the feature. You were kind of bouncing around a little bit in Houston. How would you say that at that time the film community was in Houston as opposed to Memphis or, you know, Tennessee, with Memphis, or where you're from originally? How would you say the film community was at that time? Would you say that you were more so probably like one of the very few that you knew was their community?
You know, to be honest, I didn't get as involved as I should have. I've always been very
laser focused.
Yeah. I'm just like always in my lane, and that's one of my biggest flaws, I guess you could say. I'm always just focused, and you know, once I have a goal, I'm just kind of like trying to push that. And back to what you were asking at first, what did I do with the DVDs? In addition to like selling them, one of the things that I bought this Hollywood creative directory. And every week I would load up about, you know, 10, 20 DVDs, and I would go through and highlight the different companies in that directory for the distribution and production companies. And I would send them to them, you know, never heard anything back, you know. Well, I take that back, because at the time, it was one company that is now a bigger company, was just starting, and they told me I didn't have any faces in it. And so
that was a lesson learned early on.
Yeah. They said I didn't have any faces in it, and they said you put in some faces in it, then it have a better chance. But I'm thinking like, okay, that's gonna cost me money,
right?
And I'm so used to I was doing everything on my own, you know, so I didn't go that route.
For those who may not know what faces, they're talking about actors that you may have seen on television or in movies, and they feel like that if you have these faces in it, your film will be more marketable, as opposed to it just being a good film with people they may not have seen before. Yeah. And like you said, that, you know, trying to get a face in the film is going to cost you more money, because they're going to feel like, okay, people know me, so you need to, you know, cut a decent sized check for me. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. I think that's, would you say that, I'm going to speak on my opinion, and then you can agree or disagree. But that's one of my pet peeves, I think, with film festivals. That, a lot of the movies that are getting in, if you have a face, more than likely that film is going to make it into a festival. Yeah.
I totally agree with that, because sometimes you can have the best content, or you feel, you know, and it's actually bringing awareness to the issue, but it may not make as many festivals, only because you don't have a recognizable face.
Yeah.
And so I guess at the end of the day, it's like, I know festivals, they want to have more people to come out, you know, into the festival. Right. Yeah. And so, I mean, I guess you can't blame them in that respect, but it's all about, hey, you have some faces in it.
Yeah. So let's talk about your film that did get into a festival, into Hollywood Black Film Festival, when we met, which is actually HBFF is back on for February, I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's a great festival.
Yeah. Yes. So let's talk about your film that made it into the festival. And was it a one-woman show? Did you do everything?
That one was not a one-woman show. That one was Dreka putting her credit card on the line.
Woo! Child, come on with that realness. Yes. Uh-huh.
Sometimes, like, if you believe in you, I believe that you should also invest in you.
Oh, most definitely.
Yeah. So it was a film. It came to me. By the way, the name, of course, is The Companion.
Companion. Okay.
The Companion. And it's a psychological thriller that basically it deals with, well, it's a drama. It deals with mental illness and domestic violence, along with a whole more. I don't know if you've had a chance to check it out or not, but it deals with quite a few issues, from domestic violence to child molestation to texting and driving. I mean, it's one of those types of films. And that film actually came to me in a dream. A couple of my films have come to me in dreams. But I was dreaming. I don't want to give the premise away in case somebody actually.
I'm gonna drop the link on the Facebook page if that's okay with you.
Yeah, that's fine. It's fine. Okay. It's on video. I would definitely say, check it out and give me some feedback. Let me know what you think.
So it was your first thriller that you wrote. How was that opposed to what you had done before? Was it very different? Because you kind of started off with horror, which is kind of thriller, even though it's horror. But do you feel like that going from horror to a thriller was it easy?
I mean, for me to get it in the dream, yes, it was. It was easy. I mean, because when I say thriller and you look at it, it's more so drama. Okay. Is so I could say it's mainly drama, but you do get a couple little, moments here and there. Yeah. And it was one of those things, you wake up out of a dream and it's like, okay, let me write this down because I want to tell this story. So that was what it was.
And then you made it into more than just HBFF. You made it into a few festivals.
Market Vineyards. It actually won at the Miami Women's International. Got into Crossroads. A couple of festivals, and it picked up one award. So I was happy about that.
Oh yeah, that is awesome. So by this time, are you? When you're submitting to this festival, you're already working full time in TV? Mm-hmm. Yes or no? Yeah, at that time you were. Okay. Yes. So working in TV, how does that compare to working in film? Like as far as behind the camera, I guess production and all of that, would you say it's more rapid fire? Is it more involved?
Working in television on the part where I work at now, it's good. It pays the bills, but it still doesn't quench that desire that you have to want to make something that's like yours. What you believe. That's yours. Yeah. Make it life. So it doesn't compare in that sense. Yeah. It doesn't compare. So that's why, I've been working in TV now for a little over 7 years. Okay. Working at TV stations. But I've decided that after this year, I'm gonna take a step back and regroup some things. So we're embarking upon a new endeavor. We'll see what
a leap of faith coming on.
Yeah, that leap of faith, girl.
Yes, indeed.
So when God gives you a vision, he'll make provision. So
most definitely. Most definitely. So in film, which hat do you prefer? Editing, producing, directing?
Editing is the devil.
And that's why I never want to try and get into it. Everybody's like, you need to know a little bit about it. I'm like, oh my goodness. I don't see how people enjoy it.
Exactly. I can't stand sitting down too long. So for me, what I enjoy the most is the writing and directing. The writing and the directing. So yeah.
Because the writing, it's putting your vision on paper, but the directing is making sure that it comes out how you had it in your head.
Exactly. Because you can be one of those people and you can go and hire somebody to shoot it for you, but then it's like, oh, they didn't get the shot that I wanted.
Yeah.
And with me, I'm a techie too, so eventually I'm gonna have to just say, look, I can't wear every hat. I can't do it all. And I have to learn to just trust somebody else to do it, which is the biggest thing the hardest thing to do.
It is. For some folks that are watching and who are just starting out, what would you say has been your most difficult part or difficult situation you've been in on set? Like when you're on set, what would you say is like the part that you dread the most? Or is there a part you dread the most?
It's like once I get the first shot off, I'm really good.
Okay.
It's like the setting up and the process of setting up the lights, setting up the camera, trying to communicate to the actors what they need to know. And then from there, once I get into the flow, I'm starting to gain my momentum. But then it sets back in right toward the end where sometimes you may be going over time. And it's like, I'm going over. And I'm so, I try to be considerate of everybody's time, especially when you think about the actors who come and they donate their time because they understand that right now I don't have a budget to pay you.
Right.
But they bless the project with their talent. So it's like, I want to make sure, which they are always good, but that's my biggest thing. Just trying to find time. Making sure I'm on.
Yeah. Cause time is money.
Time is money.
Time is money for sure. What are you working on right now?
Right now, I have a couple of projects that are in development, and I started on a few things, and I'm mainly just doing a lot of writing. I want to take a different approach to it and just not just shoot just to be shooting.
Yeah.
So I'm actually going into my archive and reconstructing and polishing some scripts.
Tighten up some things.
Make them exactly with how I see them now, because I'm constantly learning.
Yeah.
And I am like forever a student in this thing, on the film, on the lighting, on the writing. And so, by the way, one good book I would recommend to any screenwriters is Robert McKee, Story. Robert McKee's Story is a good book. Teaches a lot about structure. Yeah. So yeah, just trying to learn all of that stuff is where I am right now.
So you tighten up these projects, right? You get better on, let's say, one script or two script. Do you see yourself shooting it yourself, or are you thinking that you would go start pitching? Pitching, yeah.
That's pretty much where I want to go right now.
Yeah.
Get the story constructed, get it to the best of its ability, and then go out and pitch it.
Yeah.
Because sometimes we can't do our own work justice if we don't have any money to put behind it.
Yeah, this is true.
So it's like, of course, I could go out and shoot it, but will I shoot it at the caliber that I see it in my mind? Probably not. Yeah.
I agree. What are your thoughts on Hollywood right now, films in Hollywood, and your thoughts on the increasing amount of original content, like on Amazon and Netflix? Do you think that's a good thing? Do you think Hollywood should be worried? Do you think Hollywood's going to change because of it?
I mean, I definitely think these new platforms are definitely putting a dent in somebody's pocket.
Mm-hmm.
So I would definitely say the times where every budget had to be $20 million and this, now you're seeing so much original content that's telling, stories, and you don't have to have that much. I mean, you could do a good project for, 200,000.
Yeah.
You can do a good project for 50,000, depending on, if you want to put faces in it. So
right.
Yeah. So I'm happy with where it is now, because to see that now when you create that film, it's a place and it's a market to actually and get it seen.
Yeah.
And so that's where I guess as a filmmaker, you have to ask yourself, what do I want to do?
Mm-hmm.
And why am I doing it? Because if you're doing it, well, in my case, I had to find out and I had to realize that I can't make all of my efforts about doing it for the money. So now I do it because it's a passion. I pray that one day the passion turns into something that can sustain me. But, I was speaking to a director one time, and one thing he asked me, he said, well, you got to ask yourself, can you see yourself doing this, even if it's only enough to pay your rent and pay your car note and not enough to splurge on? If you're doing it because you're thinking, about this and that, or how much money I can make. Mm-hmm. I've been doing it and trying to do it for so long now that kind of like just
right.
But it's a part of me to where I just have to do it. Yeah. I have to produce. I have to write. If I'm not doing it, I just don't even feel like I'm like, why I'm here. Well, not like that, but
No, like, I agree. Because the stories is like start to kind of haunt you. Mm-hmm. They're always coming up in your mind, and you're like, man, I got to get this out. I'm just sitting on it. So I get what you're saying 100%.
Yes. Yeah. Look, that's where I've been the last few nights. I'm going to sleep at 11 and waking up at 2, and I'm like, all I can think about is this story, and I'm like, Lord, just let me get some sleep. But you're right, the stories haunt you because it has to be told.
Yeah.
And so that's when my focus changed, is when I started using film in a different way. It wasn't about just using it to entertain. Now the stories that I tell, I want them to inspire hope, to encourage somebody. So it's almost like it's part of like a ministry for me now. Yeah. It's like I can't say that all of my films are, somebody in the pulpit, singing church songs all day, but I don't see anything wrong with those films. I like faith-based films. I hope to, get on into that market and do some of those also. But for me, it's about bringing awareness and spreading hope. Yeah. So that's why I do it now. That's my why.
Do you have any thoughts or feelings about being a filmmaker versus being a Black filmmaker? Do you think that's a difference, or does it not impact you? Some filmmakers want to just say just look at me as if I'm a filmmaker and I just happen to be Black. Then some people have the viewpoint that I'm a Black filmmaker because I write from the Black viewpoint. Yeah. So
I mean, I'm one of those people. I want to just be known as a good filmmaker. Mm-hmm. I love the fact that I am able to tell our stories. So I like telling those. I have some sci-fi films too. So I mean, I guess I tell my story from a place of truth. So I have to put my, things that I'm used to seeing into the film.
Because that's your truth.
That's my, right. Exactly. That's my truth. So those characters were, I'm going to have some African-American characters in my, So, yeah.
Same as if you were, watching a film made by someone who's Chinese or Japanese. I'm sure that they would be, like you say, writing their truth, but, we don't call them, oh, he's a Chinese filmmaker, Japanese filmmaker, or this filmmaker, right. That filmmaker.
Right, that's true. That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah. Any differences you think for female independence, or what's your view on independence as a whole?
I like being an independent filmmaker because I have total creative freedom to tell the story and not try to tell it for Hollywood or just for something else. You hope that the story that God has placed in you will make it to where other people are inspired by it. But pretty much I have to tell the story that he gives me. Now somebody else, they tell a story, they may say, oh, I'm telling it. But I understand there comes a point to where investors, they want stories that are going to sell. So it's all about finding and doing the research, understanding the genre, and then coming up with that nice happy medium where you're not telling your story,
right?
But you're also making your story marketable.
Yeah. Still living in your truth.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that if you had the opportunity, would you work on reality TV?
I would probably say I like to create. I like to control what's being said, so probably not.
Yeah.
What about you?
On the one hand, I would have to say, well, I would have to know what show it is. Mm-hmm. And the question was posed to me, well, what if you didn't know what the show, what if it were a new show and you had an opportunity to get on the ground floor of it and it were on a major network? Would you let that be your step into the industry?
As long as it's not something that goes against my values, I would.
Yeah. I would have to know what that was, because my first thought was like, oh no, I can't do reality TV. Oh, no.
Right. Not if I'm out there and I'm showing just a bunch of ratchetness and it's not any message behind it. But I'm all about entertaining, comedy, and putting a good message with it. Yeah. But just to do it just to do it, I couldn't.
Yeah.
I wouldn't feel fulfilled.
Exactly. You'd always be saying, what have I gotten myself into? What am I doing?
Yeah, exactly.
What am I doing? Have you ever wanted to work on web series?
Yeah.
Web series? You think they're still popular?
Yeah, I feel they are coming out more and more.
Yeah.
I think it's a good way for people to see what you have, especially as an independent, when you can't get into that door because maybe you don't know the right person. Mm-hmm. But now you can actually go and create your own and say, okay, this is what I can do, because I've seen some that are like really well produced.
Yeah.
Really well written. And I mean, it's a good thing. Now, I know it takes a team to do that. I did one episode. I did a little short thing and I wanted to develop it into a series, and all of my cast and everybody, they're ready, but with me trying to figure out this next transition in my life. I haven't fully devoted time to going on and shooting the other episodes because I've already written 4 episodes for it, but just hadn't produced them yet.
Yeah, serious. It's going to take a commitment to write out the episodes, and then they have to be put on the calendar, and the money has to be there, and it's a lot of scheduling that you have to account for with all the actors and locations and such. So that is definitely.
And I guess I'm blessed in a sense to where I'm able to shoot stuff at a really low budget where you know, when you team up with people who are passionate about acting and they're doing it not just for the monetary gain, which you hope that we all, you know, make it together and, you know, get there. But, and then with me, I'm doing my own shooting, my own lighting, my own sound. It's like I have my own equipment. So it doesn't really, I guess, in a sense, now cost me anything.
Right.
But it takes time. And like you said earlier, time is money.
Yeah.
Because I have a couple of other things that I do with my time. Like I have a marketing company, and then I outsource my video production company. So that takes time. And so just having time to do my projects, it's been a hassle. It's been kind of tough trying to schedule that.
I bet. Your video production company, what's the name of the company, and what type of work do you guys do?
It's Primestone Media Productions, and we do anything from long form, short form videos, short films, documentaries, pretty much any videography service that someone has. If it goes in line with what we are, you know, doing, we have no problem taking on a project. So, and then I have my marketing company with my years of experience in sales. I market for local businesses and handle their media buys and just getting the words out with their business, you know, help them set up their social media links and that type of thing. So, yeah.
So you stay busy, is what you're saying.
You stay on it.
So
trying to have some Pampers for my baby one day. So yeah, sure right now
you'll be fine. All this you got going on,
girl. My baby is
tightening up the scripts. What else is in the future for you?
You know, still just co-producing. I want to co-produce more projects, and like I said, take this venture and just jump more into the film aspect so that I can be able to do more networking and get more involved there.
Yeah.
Because I'm understanding now that all of the things about independent filmmaking, it takes a lot of networking.
Yeah.
That's the one thing. That's the one good thing about those festivals. You come away and you meet great people like yourself, and you know, you pick up maybe a mentor or something while you're there. So yeah.
I think at some festivals I've gone to, a great point that or advice that I've heard, which when it was first told to me, I didn't get it. I was just thinking, oh, they just being standoffish. But they said, you know, the people that you meet here are the most important people you'll meet here, not the people that are already in Hollywood making a bunch of money that you think are going to put you on. The most important people are the people on your level that are trying to get on, because those are the people you can work with, not have to, you know, dish out a whole lot of money to, and, you know, you really fight and work together for all of you to come up together.
Yeah. That's what it's about.
Yeah.
That's what, you know, I believe that one is more than just one person and unified, whether it's a couple and they're both working toward the same purpose, the same mission. I think it's so much more done. That's why I applaud people like you. I admire, you know, you guys with hubby, with the family. You know, it's a good thing. I love it. I love it. All working towards the same goal.
Thank you. Yes, we are. We pushing you. The rest of the crew that we met, we always pumping each other up.
Yes, yes.
Most
And
definitely.
look, I appreciate it. You know, I love getting my Facebook inboxes on different festivals.
Most definitely. I love it too. Okay, so we're about to come to a wrap, but before we do, I want to make sure that everyone knows how to find you so they can stay in contact with you on whatever social media that you have.
They can find me at Dreka Shevon. That's DREKASHEVON. V as in Victor, ON. And my website is primestonemedia.com.
I'll be sure to drop that on the Real 365 Facebook page. Any last words? Any additional advice for new filmmakers who are just starting out that you maybe you would have liked to know when you were first starting out?
I would say just never give up and believe in yourself. Stay in your own lane. Don't compare yourself to other people. You determine your own success. Don't let somebody tell you, oh, success is when I'm able to buy a car. You know, some of us, we grow up in small towns, and success could be just making that one short film. Don't despise small beginnings because, hey, everything else starts there.
Yeah.
Everything else starts there. Just don't compare yourself. Always believe in yourself. That's what I would say.
I love it. And y'all make sure y'all follow her because she drops some good old inspirational nuggets on her page for sure. That's just a little taste. That's just a little taste she gave.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for sitting down with me. And like I said, I'll be sure to drop all of your information on my Facebook page and then also the link to your film so everyone can catch that. And like she said, give her some feedback. We need to make sure that we're supporting each other. So supporting Dreka and everything that she's doing. Thank you again, lady. We wish you the absolute best.
Hey, I wish you the best too. I'll talk to you soon.
Yes, you will.
All right.
All right. Good night.
Good night.